Let's head on down. Let's take a look. Sam Black's draft for right now. Let's see how creative he does get. I'm going to take a look. What does he start as far as Rivera is concerned? Painful Truths. Is that first pick quality to you?
It's, in terms of raw power, it's a little south of where I'd like to be, but it's very good and very flexible.
Now, would it surprise anyone if Sam took Bone Splinters? This is Sam we're talking about.
I would not be surprised if he selected Pilgrim's Eye.
Okay.
That seems like a potential Sam Black card. Also good when you table the Bone Splitters.
Oh, very true. Harold Kozlak here for Sam as well. But he is really leaning towards Painful Truths, you can tell. And that's exactly what he's going to select. Going to let Pilgrim's Eye go. Harold Kozlak, well, we know that goes to Owen because Owen is blue-red and Sam's passing to him.
Pilgrim's Eye not powerful enough. Harold represents too large of a commitment. This is a good way to split the difference.
So that's your first pick. Let's see what the second one is. Forerunner Slaughter. Beast Caller Savant moves to the front pretty quickly, as does Evolving Wilds. And it's a quick Evolving Wilds.
Yep. Not a bad way to follow a pick of Painful Truths. You can set yourself up for 3 colors here, remain very flexible, try to respond to the table.
Sam happy with his choice there. Very notable as he reviews this pack one more time. Get an idea of what he's going to be sending over to Turtenwald. Not a bad start. Not a bad start. Nothing too exciting going on yet, but not a bad start.
It's a very flexible opening to a draft.
Now this is a spot where he could have taken the Hellkite, but he had no interest. There's a Breaker of Armies there.
It doesn't really follow that Sam would take a Hellkite based on the first 2 picks that he made here. It seems like he's valuing flexibility at this point, and Hellkite does push him down not only to be playing red, but be playing a whole lot of mountains.
It looks like Breaker of Armies' third pick.
This is a bit of a surprise insofar as Breaker of Armies seemed available much later in the drafts than third from what we were covering. But if the philosophy here is remain flexible, it's the best card in the pack.
Yep. Well, let's see if Sam continues to remain flexible. There is a Kozlek's Channeler there to help accelerate towards the Breaker of Armies.
Seems like a great way to follow up a Breaker here.
Yeah.
And no real superstars in the pack besides,
yeah,
so this feels like a pretty easy pick.
And really, color-wise, he stayed open. You know, Painful Truths is the only colored card he's taken. He's got that Evolving Wilds as well to fix with mana. So, you know, it's certainly within their own possibility that Sam just ditches that Painful Truths altogether.
Yeah, he's in a great position so far to respond to the table.
Big Skims, perhaps. Tightening Coils. Demon's Grasp, also an option.
I think that I prefer Grasp out of this pack. He's already got an incentive to be in black because of the Painful Truths.
He's going to go with the Coils.
Okay. Evaluating a little bit of mana efficiency at this point. I guess at some point Sam does need to move into another color. And there's no guarantee he's black, I suppose.
Desolation Twin. Curious just how deep he's willing to go with this Eldrazi stuff.
Seems like a bit much this early. There's a lot of big stuff you can choose from. I mean, it's worth shoving for the marquee stuff. Oh, man, I think he's going for it.
Hello.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
Slid it down with a little bit of a flourish, too.
Go big or go home.
All right.
All I could think was Owen didn't see that in the draft.
Yeah,
So
I remember thinking the same thing.
So Owen, if you didn't see it, that means Sam took it.
Oh, this is great.
Tightening Coils.
Removal, card drawing, mana, and big stuff.
Yeah, he's going to take the Coils.
Mm-hmm.
He's on an Eldrazi strategy.
This is delightful.
Yeah. I can get behind this, trust me. We might see maybe a little green-blue action because, hey, you know green's open.
Mm-hmm.
Scour from Existence. Grave Birthing.
Great Birthing is a card that has overperformed in my estimation this weekend. Not a card I've had a lot of success with in booster draft, but after watching it this weekend, I'm going to have to reconsider. It's looked very good.
I've liked everything I've seen from it. It's not flashy.
But it triggers so much stuff.
Yeah. Another scour there, unnatural aggression, bone splinters on the wheel. You had a feeling.
Just like we talked
Yeah,
about.
there's the bone splinters for Sammy Black, a little sacrifice effect. Of course, coming Sam Black's way. It's what he's known for, after all. Players do have their tendencies. Rot Shambler.
Good with the bone
Good
splitters.
with the bone splitters, yep. What's next here for Sammy B? Fertile Thicket?
Oh, that seems just
yeah, that
perfect.
seems nice. I like how this first pack, this isn't, of the drafts we've watched today, no one's done something like this.
This is the most creative start to a draft that we've seen.
Which is generally what you'd expect, given Sam. Vampiric Rites.
Yes.
Yeah, yep.
Yes.
I'm in. I'm all the way in now. Seek the Wilds. I'm all the way in. This is great. Crumble to Dust is how he's going to finish it off. I can't wait to see him leaf through this.
Sam Black, don't ever change.
Yo, be you. Couple copies of Tightening Coils, Grave Birthing, Bone Splinters, the Rot Shambler, Fertile Thicket. I am in heaven right now.
Some multicolor action, some sack for value action, some Eldrazi action. A lot of different paths this one could go.
You think Sam may have been happy to get past the Smothering Abomination later in this pack?
I think he's probably. I think he's more happy with this the Vampiric Rites.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
Keep in mind, we've already watched Owen Turtenwald's draft. Owen is now passing to Sam for pack 2. Owen was hemming and hawing between blue and black, moved towards blue, and we can see that Sam wants to be moving towards black.
And keep in mind, there's no guarantee that Sam ends up playing the blue cards he's currently drafted.
Yeah.
Because of the Painful Truths, he does have an incentive to move into a third color regardless. And if the blue keeps coming, then that could be the third color. But he can also adapt to whatever comes to him.
We'll take a look at that stack one more time. I'd be happy. You know, Sam just moving into the Desolation Twin. It's just,
yeah.
You know. That one may have wheeled around the table. Can't risk it.
Maybe there's other opportunities to get 9 and 10 mana plays that are, but just cannot risk it.
Absolutely not. I want 2 10-10s, and I want them now. He'll take a look. Make sure there are an appropriate number of cards there, and now we get to see what he's going to open.
Like I said, Sam Black, not so much a pile of good stuff kind of drafter.
No. He likes to build decks. Demon's Grip. Has there ever been a Catacomb Sifter? Oh, Endless one? Oh, that one's good too.
My preference, I think, is for Catacomb Sifter.
Yeah?
It's close, very close between the two. And you can see Sam is also debating this.
That is tough.
I would not begrudge either pick. If I was in this seat with what he's opened up on so far, I think I would take the Sifter.
Man, that is really tough. Endless one's so good.
Yeah, they're both just perfect for what he's doing.
Jeez.
Here's the thing. You might be able to float Catacomb Sifter. It is possible that card comes back.
Yeah, who wants to be green-black? Oh, that's so hard. Okay. All right. Because you're not getting Endless one back. We all know that. Any deck can play that.
That card's very good for anyone.
Yeah.
That's a tough pick right there. Like I said, I would have taken the Sifter too, but I would not have begrudged Endless one.
Let's see what's next here. Fathom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I guess
great.
he is kind of a Sultai deck, right?
Well, he has the 2 copies of Tightening Coils. He has an incentive to be 3 colors regardless because of the Painful Truths.
Okay.
So if he ended up opening up some very powerful white card that was a single white mana, maybe he would take that.
Sure.
But he already has a bit of an infrastructure to be blue, and Fathom Theater is great in this style of deck. So at this point, it feels like Sam is solidly Sultai as his color combination.
Don't know what the heavy colors are going to be. He could just be, the full 3 across, depending on how the mana shapes up. Blister Pod. It's working its way towards the back now. Oh.
This is not a straightforward pick here because Eyeless Watcher is great for his deck.
Yeah, it's really good in his deck.
A green-blue dual land is also what the doctor ordered.
Forgot about that Lumbering Falls. Yeah, it's pretty hard to pass that up.
I think that pick is close.
Yeah.
Eyeless Watcher does a lot of good work for Sam, but his mana fixing is a little shaky right now. He doesn't have a whole lot of it. That dual land does a lot of work.
All right, Sammy B. I'm loving what you're doing right now. Life's shambling bed too.
I don't think that's doing much work for him.
I don't think so. I think it might be a Lifespring Druid.
Yeah,
but
the Vent is too creative for me. I mean, I love what Sam's doing here. Vent's a little too creative. The Druid's just so straightforwardly good for what he's up to.
yeah, it fits well into the deck.
Yeah.
Where are we going next here, Sam Black? Oh, okay. So this is the Smothering Abomination pack. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, this is one of the fastest picks he's made. I can't imagine him passing that.
Yeah, especially since the pack looked dry until he got to the last card, which was Smothering Abomination.
And that was the one where when Owen had to kind of reluctantly pass it because he was kind of hemming and hawing between blue and black to go with his red cards. He finally settled on blue. And once he settled on blue, he said, Smothering Abomination, you're not going to tempt me. I will pass it. And it's going to go right into Sam's deck.
Yeah, this worked out. I mean, you can see the way that this draft worked out. It was very good for both of them.
Yeah.
They were both trying to respond to the table for a little while now, but now Sam solid in black, Owen solid in blue.
Blighted Woodland.
Perfect.
Yep, it's really nice. Mana fixing, a little bit of acceleration towards those Eldrazi.
That's what's nice about these styles of decks. You get the goods for your deck pretty late.
Yeah.
I mean, you are taking cards no one else has any interest in.
Dominator Drone in there. Plummet, a great sideboard card, sometimes a great main deck card.
I think a Rising Miasma, which is also a tempting sideboard card.
Mm-hmm. He's going to go with Plummet, though. His deck is a little soft to flyers right now.
It is. And blue and white flyers are just very good right now. So this format conducive to building decks that are just a curve of flyers and some bounce spells. Kind of hedge that matchup, shore up that matchup a little bit.
Oran Reef Invoker may be interesting. Nirkana Assassin might be interesting. But it's going to be Oran Reef Invoker. Next up. Sam leafing between a couple there. They're both green cards.
Yeah, he's got a mana fixer or another way to ensure himself against flyers.
Looks like he leaned toward Natural Connection there. Couple of green cards he's considering there. I believe Eyeless Watcher?
Void Winnower.
Void Winner, excuse me.
Just some regular Magic cards to get. Excuse me, Void Attendant.
Sure.
Just some regular Magic cards to get out of the early game.
Blister Pod. A Luis Scott Vargas favorite this weekend. A couple more to close it out here for Sam. He took an Altar's Reap. Actually pretty good in his deck. A Voracious Null. And now that last card, that's actually not
That's
bad.
That's gonna make the cut.
Yeah, Fertile Thicket.
That's in the deck.
That's not bad at all. All right. When you draft green, you get cards that people don't want. And people don't mind passing a card like Fertile Thicket at the very end.
Especially since some of the cards that Sam's in the market for are extremely deck specific. It's not like they're just generically good green cards. He's looking for the sack for value stuff, the mana fixing stuff, and for a lot of two-color decks, they're not interested in that sort of stuff. So Sam got a lot of cards for his deck pretty late in pack 2.
What's interesting here, you know, this week, Sam's article is about green-black being the hardest deck to draft because there's so many different things you can do with the deck. You kind of want to be a Sacrifice Bone Splinters deck. You want to be a lot of different decks. You want to do a lot of different things. And so he wrote about how it's so hard to draft decks since you get pulled so many different ways. And right now, we're seeing him try to do it here at the most intense time to do it in a Grand Prix.
Though I think his setup for as funny as it's been at certain points in his fanciness, the deck is pretty straightforward. It's a green-black deck at its core, splashing a little bit of blue for Painful Truths and a couple removal spells and a Fathom Feeder. I think he could use some more mana fixing and a little bit more mana acceleration. I don't know how reliable his top end is right now, but the setup's good, and he can take a whole bunch of different cards here. A lot of different stuff fits in his deck that, again, most people can't play. And he's not going to be struggling for playables. He's already well above the pace to get to 22 cards.
I love it. He's on pace to get to 22 cards and far past that, and now we can get really creative with what he takes. A little bit of a longer review period during this pack, do remember. So the players get to take a look a couple of times here. I love his deck so far, though.
Yeah.
I really do.
It's rounded out nicely. I mean, for as unorthodox as it is, I think he's in a really strong position. And being 3 colors with a lot of mana fixing means that there's going to be opportunities for him, most likely to take just some raw power for the deck as well. Take a lot of different stuff.
Here we go. Show me a good one. Pilgrim's Eye is not bad. He's going to take that pretty quickly.
I think he's leaning on blue being the splash color. And his deck's also not really one that's going to make very great use out of Clutch. I mean, it's an awesome card, of course, but his top end is not, I'm trying to bounce a thing and make a 3/3. It's Desolation Twin, it's Breaker of Armies. He's playing a different game.
Feels like he needs one more big Eldrazi, maybe.
It wouldn't be bad. I think he could definitely tolerate one more. But typically there's opportunities to take those kind of cards later on in the draft.
The card I'm thinking of probably is kind of Ruin, so we can search for the other one.
Yeah, that would be that'd be a great card to see.
Pick 2 coming. Rune Processor, that qualifies. Empiric Rights, don't know if you need a second one of those. Bone Splinters, pulled to the front very fast.
Looking at Gruesome Slaughter as well, though I don't think he has the critical mass of colorless creatures to make that card reliable.
Is it Bone Splinters? Tightening Coils under consideration.
He doesn't have a whole lot of Scion stuff going on. I mean, he's got a little bit, but he doesn't have a lot to spare, and those Scions are going to be on detail powering out Eldrazi's as well.
Do remember, Bone Splinters in Pack 1 did wheel. So it's not out of the question that it wheels again here.
Also true, no way Tightening Coils comes back, but Bone Splitters might.
Lifespring Druid, Mind Raker.
Damning Pulse is perfect for a deck like this.
I think it's delightful in this deck.
Just looking to slow the game down.
Yeah, he's going to take that. Love that pick.
Yep. That's a more powerful mid-range play for his deck than anything else he has so far.
Yeah. Love that pick. I love how it's shaping up. Let's see what comes now. Oh boy, foil planes.
I would take Evolving Wilds. I haven't passed a single, putting myself in the seat of the players here, I don't think I've passed a single foil basic land in any of these drafts.
Yeah.
But with the stakes and how good this is, I like Evolving Wilds here.
You let the foil planes go.
I would select Evolving Wilds.
Okay, so did Sam. I know it's tough for you.
I know. Hopefully it comes back. You might be able to float it.
Let's see what's next here for Sammy B. It's been a really nice pack so far. Is that a part the Water Veil?
Of course it is. I mean, Drew Stalwart is a very solid early play.
It's good in his deck.
He's kind of splashing blue right now, So double blue is not trivial, but
I love this.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. He is.
this is so
He
great.
is completely off his rocker. I love this.
This is so great.
Canopy Vista doesn't help.
No.
Doesn't help. Myers Malice, pretty nice. He'll take the discard spell, which, again, has been very impressive all weekend long.
I don't know if it's totally appropriate for Sam's deck to be playing with it, just because his deck is more about invalidating what you're doing by getting to his top end rather than worrying about 2 cards in your hand, but it still could end up in the deck.
Yep. The Shrine. There's an Incubator Drone.
Yep.
I think that one's a little better.
Just got to get anything that can produce Scions at this point.
Yeah. Keep my eyes out for that Bone Splinters, by the way. Waiting for it to come all the way back around to Sam Black. What do we see here, this pack? Anticipate can help to tie the room together.
I get the sense that it's nothing that's making the deck.
Yeah. Nothing too important going on there?
I mean, this is not a territorial Baloth
Yeah.
deck.
Not at all.
Nope.
For what it's worth, I'm not sure there is a territorial Baloth deck.
That may be true, but I know this one is not it.
This is a grave birthing deck.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect card.
This deck loves grave birthing. Next pack. Nothing doing here, really. Mortuary Mire, sure. Maybe a boarded in, probably not. Nothing really doing.
Sam's already got a lot of lands that come into play tapped. He's got the Lumbering Falls and a bunch of Fertile Thickets. Fertile Thickets doing a lot more work for him than Mortuary Mire, so I would be surprised if this ended up in the deck, but it's not impossible. Could be a sideboard card for games that go on for a long time.
Anticipate. That'll be the selection. I think we might be past the Bone Splinters now. Wavewing Elemental, Scour from Existence. Great sideboard card there in the Scour. It's expensive. He's going to take the Wavewing Elemental.
I guess doing a little de-drafting here.
It's also single blue.
Yep. Could splash it.
Yep.
Could bring it in out of the board.
Boiling Earth he's going to take. That's actually good against his deck. And that'll put a close on it. All right. Well.
That was great.
Owen's draft.